And joining us on the line, great to be chatting to him again from the Royal Belgian Conspiracy. We've got Moozy. Moozy, mate, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm well. I'm lying on a couch at home in Melbourne, where I live between Melbourne and Canberra, but I'm currently in Melbourne at the moment, having chased been driving away from COVID, which seems to be the last year and a half.
Can understand that. So during this, since we last spoke earlier in the year, so you've coped with COVID okay. Has it had a major impact on what you're doing?
It has, but not necessarily in a bad way. Like, I actually think, it's been pretty tough for a lot of artists because it's hard to play and it's very hard to organise a tour. But I guess I pretty early on thought, well, this is a good time just to focus on recording and writing, and really that's what I've been doing. So I've really zeroed in on spending some solid time in the studio and coming up with new material.
Has COVID at all influenced any of this new material?
No, actually, I wouldn't say that there's any lyric content that's been influenced by it. I guess it's just influenced how productive I've been in that regard, and that's also, there's less things to do, and often when you're in a lockdown, you can't go out at night, so it's a good time to pick up the guitar and see what happens.
Apart from playing the guitar and enjoying your own music, is there other music that you've discovered during this time as well that you think, oh, this is really good? Where I wouldn't have found this had I not been in this lockdown situation?
Yeah, look, I've gone on some probably like a lot of your listeners. You get onto Spotify and then you start clicking on. You go to the artists that you know, and then there's that function where it enables you to check out other artists, which Spotify thinks you may like, which are similar, and you end up going down a rabbit hole. You click on one artist, and then Spotify suggests what you might like if you like them, and then you and so on. And I've definitely discovered some great stuff doing that. I really enjoy that process.
As a music fan, Spotify, we love it. But as an artist, are you a fan of it? Do you have some issues about the model of it as well? I've heard people commenting that there is not enough in terms of revenue and the way that the algorithm works. What's your thoughts and feelings on it?
Mixed. Look, you're right. It's not great for making revenue from your music, and it's, nothing beats what used to be in place, just selling your own CDs. Yeah. But and there's something I think there's something a bit special about buying and listening to a CD, and there's a bit of romance that's lost there with Spotify. But at the same time, you just have to move with the times, and I'm just resigned to the fact that I will always need to have some alternate source of income in the Spotify age. But I'm kind of at peace with that, to be honest. I just, I see music as my love, and I'm happy to do it regardless of whether I can do it full time or not.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I like your thoughts there. That's quite good. I've had some rather aggressive answers when I've asked that question to others in the past, but I like your answer. That's a nice one. And you're right. We're in the age of Spotify. We're stuck with it. It's not going to go away. And it's a matter of working with it, I guess. And from the things I've heard, I just wish that the artists got a bit more out of it that helped them. And I would just like to see that happen, because I just think that then flows on to more of what they do rather than less of what they do, or a reluctance to do it. So that's where I sort of see with it.
I appreciate that. It does. Like when I look at my statistics in terms of who's listening to my songs, it is interesting to see all these people overseas listening to it. And it's true that, I think pre-Spotify that, the two countries that listen to my songs even more than Australia, are the US and Brazil. And I don't really know why that is, but it is. Wow. And I suspect pre-Spotify, no one there would have been listening to my stuff. So there's also, I don't know, there's give and take, and whilst I wish it provided more revenue for artists, I'm pretty philosophical about it. Of just working with what's there, and I guess I really do treat music like my love. So I just I'm okay with having to have another job to support that I'm at peace with that.
And Belgium didn't score high up in all the statistics. That's what's going on there. You think that they would?
Yeah, you're right. It's interesting. I look at the because I was a little kid when I moved here moved to Australia from Belgium, and I'm always curious to see what how many people are listening in Belgium, and you get a country by country breakdown Spotify gives you. And occasionally I get a little message, someone writing to me saying, "Hey, I'm listening to this from Belgium." But France listens more, Holland listens more. Yeah. So it doesn't seem to be... maybe they're a bit suspicious of the band name, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that could be it too. Well, Moozy, you got a new song out at the moment, and a song that I understand was inspired by a rather long car ride.
Yeah, it was. It was a car ride around the United States that I did with my best mate, and it was it was far from an Instagram type of trip. We didn't have any mobile phones, or we didn't take any laptops, so and we slept in the car, and it wasn't a car as in a camper van with a bed. It was just a sedan, so we used to put the seats back and just sleep in the seats.
What sort of car was it?
What's that, sorry?
What sort of car was it? Do you remember the make and the model?
No, we went to a place called Rent-A-Bomb, where you could rent a bomb. So we were renting a bomb, and they were staggered when we brought it back a couple months later and looked at the Ks that we had clocked on there. They were in shock, because we rented it near New York, and then we drove through, I guess, the middle of the States, and then down to LA, and then we looped back up through the deep south all the way back to New York. It was it was a great trip. It was a really, it was a lovely trip to solidify our childhood friendship.
Are you still friends now after all this time?
Yeah, look, he's still my closest friend. Yeah, we're like brothers. So we're very close.
One of the lines in the song is about the long conversations between you. So what were some of those? Can you tell us about some of those long conversations? Are you willing to share some?
Yeah, look, sure. It's and it's interesting when you spend a really long time with someone, days on end. And we weren't really interacting with that many people in many ways. So your conversations, you kind of exhaust all the regular topics, if you like, and then you start, you become curious, and you ask each other about things like childhood, and you go into, tell me about your first girlfriend, tell me what happened there, what was your relationship like with your folks, and what are you really hoping the next, where do you think we'll be in 10 years, where do you think we'll be in 20 years? You kind of go those rabbit holes of exploration, and I don't know. It's a unique and lovely way of getting to know someone really intimately.
Are you still able to have a long conversation like that with your best mate now?
Yeah, we still do. I mean, when I'm in Canberra, I stay with him, so we spend a lot of time together, and I guess because we've known each other since childhood, we're good at having those conversations. We're also good at spending time together without talking.
Okay. Yeah.
So we can easily spend an evening together in the same lounge room and share very few words, but for it to be very comfortable. And I don't know, that's a really nice way of... That's a really nice kind of connection to have with someone as well, to have that level of comfort.
Yeah, so I spent some time driving with a friend long time ago, and as we've got older, we find that now when we sit down and we don't need to talk, because we can just sort of look at each other. Someone will say something, we look at each other, and we're both thinking the exact same thing, because we've spent that time, as you said, in a small confine of the car. You get used to how people feel, and you can pick up their energy, and so you just know. So I totally understand where you're coming from there. Totally get it. You mentioned in the song too about being court jesters, so I gather you could make each other laugh. Can you still do that?
Yeah, we do. We've got this kind of, probably like a lot of friendships, close friendships, you have all these little in-jokes and almost these little characters that you adopt around each other, where you kind of, pretend you're kind of different types of people for a little bit, and you have these kind of comic relief that way. And we had bought these sunglasses, which were kind of the most ridiculous sunnies that just made us look awful. And we also said to ourselves, "Oh, we're not going to shave during this this road trip." So we had these kind of bizarre sunglasses, and we looked pretty unkept, and we were sleeping in the car. So we just looked awful, to be honest. But it kind of added to the amusement of it and the fun of the trip.
Yeah, can understand that as well. Those sunglasses, do you still have them by any chance?
Yeah, well, we both do. Yeah. We're never going to throw them away. Yeah, absolutely.
I had a feeling that you still might. Now, with the song, Moozy, it's a very dreamy sort of vibe and feel to it. Was that deliberate? Because when I was reading about what the song was about, I was thinking it would be really up-tempo and very fast-moving, but it's got this real dreamy quality to it. So was that the intention all the way?
I think that's just the way it came out, but it's certainly the way that I guess it's a song about reminiscing, and that is the way I feel about it when I reminisce. Yeah. There is a kind of a dreamy quality to it, and a slightly otherworldly quality to it when I think about just being in a car with him, and we didn't have phones, we didn't have internet, so it felt like it was a slightly different world.
What was the music you were listening to while you were driving along? Who was in charge of the music as well?
Yeah, probably more me than him. We listened to kind of classic stuff, so we listened to a lot of Supertramp.
Oh, yeah.
Eric Clapton got a fair whack. It's a bit cliched, but we did give Bob Marley a fair whack too, and I listened to quite a lot of French folk music, I guess. So an artist called Francis Cabrel got a pretty good high rotation in the car too, and a bit of Guns N' Roses to kind of spice things up.
So when you hear those songs today, can you still listen to them, and does it take you back?
Some of them really take me back. Yeah, some of them take me back specifically to a time and place. I remember that we listened to a lot of Bob Marley when we were in the Death Valley, which is in California. Yeah. A place where nothing really much grows. There's a lot of salt, and it's this big salt desert. And I don't know why, but I have it very much. You kind of almost don't control what your memory chooses to select to keep at the forefront, but that's a really vivid imagery for me.
It's amazing about that, driving the songs, and that just triggers those memories. And I was just reminiscing myself, about songs and some Bob Marley that took me back. Anyway, enough of that. Now, Moozy, last time we spoke, you're working towards an album. So what's the situation with the album? Is it on its way? Is it near? Is it far? What's the story?
Yeah, it's pretty close. There's probably just a little bit of tinkering, but it's pretty close. I reckon we're going to release another 2 singles before releasing the album. I think there's 4 really strong tracks on there that we'd like to release as singles. So I probably think the album will happen towards the end of the year, and there'll be another single next month, and then maybe another single 6 weeks after that.
And then do you hope to do some live gigs and maybe possibly touring and venturing around the country? Would that be nice as well?
I really hope so. Yeah. But I guess I'm just, being philosophical about that and just seeing where the world goes and where Australia goes. But I'd love to. If that looks viable and realistic, I will jump on it.
I certainly hope it works out for you too. So, and if you're ever near us at our studios, you're more than welcome to pop in for a live chat. We'd love to do that as well. That'd be a fun thing.
That would be great, Clayton. That would be great.
I'd really enjoy that. Well, Moozy, it's great chatting to you again. I feel we're going to be chatting again soon when getting closer to when the album's out. So I'm looking forward to that. We've got your current single here. I'm ready to go with it. I'm just reaching for my sunnies as we speak. And I feel it's a song you've got to have your sunnies on while you're listening to it for some reason.
Do.
So it's all here ready to go. Thank you so much for spending time with us today on Flow, and if you could please introduce the song for us.
A pleasure. This is Steel Shell by the Royal Belgian Conspiracy.
And do and I still should.